Yes, good afternoon, our viewers. Welcome to Hot Tech. We want to thank you. I want to thank the people who have subscribed and the ones that have followed and shared our content. Yes, today we'll be talking lots of sports. We start with the UPL, but I'm not alone in the studio. I have also my co-host, Mr. Hudson Mugweri, who will, before he greets you, let me first pose this question to him and we'll start by greeting you and also answering the UPL game. Yes, this week we had quite an interesting fixtures for match day two. We had Mbale Heroes stand Sc Villa in Mbale. We had Bull that many hoped that would pick out that win against KCCA in Lugazi, but it was a tight match game. They shared the spoil. We had Mbarara drawing with Police, I think picking up first point after losing to the match, losing 3-2. That was really a disappointing loss. Then this big one also, Chitara losing to their nemesis Neck 1-2 at home. We'll start with the Bull game. Bull against KCCA. It was an evenly matched game. You know, we had some uh, chances here and then, especially Katenga in the first half. Towards the end of the first half, he got in one-on-one with Joel Mutakuva, with Fesali really giving him that pressure, but he missed niching the ball into the net. We also had Jerome Kiria in the first half, 24th minute. He had a long shot that was saved by Mutwali Bumugolofa. So it was really an evenly matched game in the first half. But second half, would now see tactics being rolled in. We saw Coach Abdallah Mowiru coming in and changing in some few things, bringing in Ashraf Mugume and scoring the first goal before Jerome Kiria equalizing. What did you pick out from that game, Mr. Hudson Mugweri, and your view on the two teams that really needed maximum points from this game?
It was it was a tough game. It was a tough fixture. It wasn't an easy fixture because these are both teams are title contenders, and they signed the players so well. And they added on the experience they had in the previous season. Then they added in more players. Uh, we saw, of course, Bull is not a team which is going to attack you non-stop, but when they get the chance, they use it.
Mm.
We saw Chidia trying to get that chance in the first half. Then he scored a good equalizer, a good shot in the second half. Actually, it was a good screamer because it was out of the box and he scored a good smart goal. I would say that. Ashraf Mugume scored for KCCA, and in the last 15 minutes, KCCA played the defensive kind of football because Bull attacked them more compared to how it was in the 75 minutes. At the end of it, both teams moved out with a draw, which was a big advantage to KCCA because their next fixtures against Chitara. The
Mm.
first three fixtures of KCCA have been tough and hard
Mm.
because you first play Yara A, from Yara A, you now to Bull, from Bull, you're going to Chitara. These are tough teams, and these are teams we're looking at to be like, you know what, and they can win a championship this season. So I would
Mm.
say credit to Kaldamo Vidu. He made the quick substitute of removing Bright Anakun and bringing in Ashraf Mugome, who scored actually a goal for KCCA. That was a good decision he made, and we saw the results out of that substitute. For Jerome Chiria, is a player who was on form last season and is still on form this season, though he hasn't been somebody on the national team. But let's see how Chan goes because we're hosting the Chan tournament
Mm.
because it's only local based players. So we hope someone on the team and we see what he can showcase on the current team. But all in all, I'm sure he's a good player, and with the kind of football he's playing and now he's showing leadership into the team, we can see what he's putting up because I'm sure Bull lost like two senior players, their goalkeeper Ikara, and also one of their strikers also left the team. So with Chidia being on the team, actually, even the captain also left the team, OT. They are the
Mm.
best defender of last season. So
Mm.
Chile is now like the leader into the team, and we are seeing something he'll put up. So we hope to see big results coming from Bull with the leadership of Chilia into that midfield.
Yes. Just to add on that, also we had we had if you look at Coach Abdallah's tactics, you'd see that Coach Abe Kakemoko was really aware of Joel Serenjoji, the midfield of KCCA, and I was so impressed by Kawoya, the midfielder. He really dominated the midfield. You'd even see Serenjoji really fouling. Actually, he was so lucky to remain on the field. He had 8 fouls in total, and he just escaped with a yellow card. So, and that's why he was substituted by Coach Abdallah Mobiru. But I like his style, though they need to really get this idea of getting points from away, not dropping points from away. Because in Lugogo, they will play the expansive kind of football. It's always hard to dominate them in terms of that kind of game, unless a few teams like Kitara, which they will be playing next. So it was a very also important win. But I feel like Coach Abe, it was really hard done. If you look at his his goal this season was to really fight for the title, but so far has picked 2 draws. So his next game is also key. His next game is also key. They will be playing Villa in Wankoku. So they are not really far apart, but vital points from away really matters in this. The other game that was also interesting was the game in Mbale. Mbale Heroes winning against Sc Villa, picking their first win in Mbale after over 20 years. That was the first time Premier League football was returning in Mbale, and it did not disappoint. From a solo strike, 85th minute strike from Waiswa Kosea, an interesting player, left player also who played for Mida FC and also Chetume FC, some stints in Somalia. Yeah, but it was an interesting game, especially looking at what Mbale Heroes presented to us. We've been wondering what is Mbale Heroes doing in the market? What is it that Mbale Heroes is trying to cook? But that on Sunday against Villa, you would see new players. Faizo Wabiona. I mean, Wabiona was at KCCA, but he slipped under the radar of many Premier League teams, and I'm happy for Mr. Chris and Badru, the management of Mbale Heroes to really scout these players. I don't know whether they're getting them on loan or permanent basis. You look at Kagua in there, Malik Bironse, the son of Abedi Bironse, Mbale Heroes legend. You're looking at Matata Jeremy, very difficult player on the right. Actually, his crosses really caused Aslam, the SC Villa left back, a lot of trouble. There's something about these Mbale Heroes that, for me, I feel that we should keep an eye on them. There are teams that it will be hard to really pick full results in Mbale for the teams that will be visiting in Mbale. So anyway, I don't know whether Addison is speaking me or whether there's still a delay.
It was an interesting game.
Okay,
It
go
was
on.
the second shock of the season after neck shocking
Mm.
Vipers at Mod Stadium, and now we saw a big shock again.
Mm.
Picking you
Okay, go on, go on. Mm.
in that game, of course. In that game, we saw Mbale getting that set piece, a good free kick taken by Waiswa. And before the free kick was taken, the fans were busy screaming, "The goal!" The fans were busy screaming, "The goal is going to go! Goal is going to enter!" What next? The goal entered, and it was a good set piece. It was a good free kick scored by Waiswa.
Mm.
On top of that, I'm just happy that these community clubs are doing something incredible, which I'm sure Dumparaka, if they come back now, I'm sure they've learned something big. These are community clubs. We saw Mbale, of course, writing a statement saying they got 15 million from that game of Mbale versus SC Villa, which was something so interesting. And today morning, I saw a post from Clive Chaze, whereby Deo Kasozi was appealing to URA to not tax clubs when it comes to get collections. And I'm happy that he has talked about it, because URA may try to so fast be like, you know what, clubs are getting a lot of money, we need to tax them. this money is coming from the funds, and these are community clubs. This money is going to help the clubs in a lot of things, and we need to make sure our football is developing every now and then. So generally, I would say it's a good start of the season. Mbale Heroes signing players silently, whereby they weren't in the media so much, but they signed their players, and the players are doing an incredible job. We saw the result. We saw the second game against Villa. They won their game comfortably, which was so interesting. And rumor has it that Villa has not beaten Mbale from Mbale Heroes from Mbale. So I hope this is true, because I saw a post coming in from the page of Mbale
I
Heroes.
don't believe
Not
so.
beaten from Mbale.
I don't.
So I hope it is something which is true, and this is something good. So Villa has a debt to pay when that one could either to beat Mbale or Mbale beating them again. So that's another interesting fixture we're yet to see.
Honestly, me personally, I've watched Mbale Heroes win against Villa. It was a 3-2. I remember it was Andrew Mukasa and Magini Musisi who scored for Villa, but for us it was Ibrahim Maruti and Fred Wamkota with 2 goals. The game did not even end. Actually, that's why they say that could be the reason why, but the game did not end because when Villa started scoring, then Villa scored the second goal. Andrew Fimbo Mukasa, a lot of Mbale Heroes fans thought it was offside, and they kind of rioted, and the game did not end. But that's one of the games that I watched with my own eyes. But I believe we have won quite a few games, yeah, in Bali there. I don't know which start they really picked, but for me, I watched that game. I was a bit young. Yeah. So anyway, let's proceed to the game in Chitara. Chitara against NEC. NEC lost the Uganda Cup finals against Chitara, and it looked like Chitara was getting the better out of them. But did you really imagine this kind of results in Hoima? Chitara losing to NEC 2-1. Goals from Wahab Gaddafi, and yeah, what did you pick out from that? Yeah, from the NEC win in Hoima. And NEC really now it's leading the table with 6 points.
Interesting fixture, and with the way Balangu stated it, Balangu, the coach of NEC, said it like they made sure they maintained their first 11. They made sure they maintained the first 11 because they didn't let them leave the club, and they added in more 7 to 8 players. And these 7 8 players, most of them are experienced, because you've got, of course, Moshi Juko, you've got Mutiaba. These are all experienced players, and now adding them to the first 11 of NEC, it was a good plus for NEC, and we saw them against the first game against Vipers, how they demolished Vipers from MTN Omoni Stadium. Now they went to Jitara, and it was Jitara's first home game at their new home ground. And of course, they lost the game 2-1 with screamers coming from NEC, because we saw Gaddafi scoring a brilliant goal. We saw the likes of Okocha doing his thing as well. I would say it was an interesting game, but to me, the highlight of that game, of course, the highlight of that game, of course, I would say the second goal. It was a good goal because he put the ball on the chest and he took a good shot. Actually, I felt more for my brother Kusima, Chris Kusima, was suffering. Was suffering.
Oh my God!
Yeah, was suffering that goal.
I've never seen Kusima really bundle the net like that.
Screamer.
I've never seen Kusima really bundle the net like that. It was too much
this
for
was
him.
A scream. Yeah, it was too much. I'm like, this is a screamer. But at the end of the day, I was just happy with the way the Chitara fans showed up, because they were paying 30K VIP and 10K ordinary, but they got over 55 million from just gate collections. which is a big plus when it comes to the Ugandan football and community clubs as well.
Mm.
That's why the was appealing to URA, please don't tax us when it comes to the collections. This money is helping us in other things when it comes to the football, the clubs, because we don't have big sponsors. We're just a community club, and money comes from these funds. So they are giving us the money, and we are paying the players. We have to maintain the stadiums as well to be at the top level. So generally, it was a good fixture, and as I told people earlier, before the season kicked off, NEC is a team to watch, and they are proving us that, you know what, we are a team to watch. We are beating guys, and they're still beating more guys. So expect more results from NEC, which are positive.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, then before we move on to the match day 3 and the fixtures and predictions, there are some standout players from the that really for me I really felt like stood out in match day 2. Look at Jerome Kiria. Jerome Kiria really remarkable in there. We'll talk about him shortly. Faizo Aviona, also the usual Milton Carissa. Who was your standout player for match day 2 that you?
I would go with Kalisa scoring a double against Express,
Express? Yeah.
standout player.
Absolutely. For me, I think I'll pick out Jerome Chiria for one reason. Uh, I also still believe Jerome Chiria really deserves that trust from Paul Put. I'm talking about the national team. The way you saw they trusted Sam Mugabe using the club form and coming in the national team and really proving that Jerome Chiria is one of the players that I believe that if Paul Put really brought him into the Cranes fold, he will also really produce. What do you think of that?
That's why I'm of the view that we have a big advantage now that Chan is coming home. So I hope he's someone on the team, and he gets his playing time on the team. Then he proves to Paul that, you know what, you've taken long, man, to be somebody on the team. But I'm proving your point. I can do something, and I'm doing it, and you're seeing the results from me. So we have a big advantage that we are hosting Chan, and hope is someone on the team, and we see what he has on the plate.
Absolutely, yeah. So, Eddie, these are the fixtures of match day 3. We have Police versus Bright Stars. We have NEC playing UPDF. Lugazi hosting Vipers. That's a hard one for Lugazi. Sc Villa will be playing Bull in Wankulkuku. Wakiso Giants will be hosting Mbale Heroes, and KCCA FC will be hosting Chitara FC. URFC will be playing Barara City. Express FC will be playing Maroons. Yeah. So let's start with this big one here, KCFC versus Chitara. What are your prediction? And this game means a lot to both teams. Looking at the summit
It's a
of the
tricky one.
table. Mhm.
Tricky one. Of course, Chitara 3 points, KC has 4 points. But now KC has to prove a point to the fans that, you know what, they beat us last season home and away, but this season we can do something. So I'm giving KC a win 2-1 against Chitara.
2-1 against Chitara. Yeah, I believe this will be a low scoring game. I'm looking at 1-0 KCCA. Yeah, because I believe KCCA will really, because they've learned their lessons. They were, remember that Rabona from Omedi, in the FUFA Super 8. It's not only that, Gitara last season also came and won against them there. So this is the redemption time for KCCA against KCCA against Chitara. So interesting fixture right there. Then we also have the Sc Villa against BUL, that is in Wankulkuku. Both these teams finished first and second last season. This is uh, this is to decide which team really is the better off and maybe having the highest chances of winning the league. Sc Villa versus BUL.
Go with BUL winning that game.
BUL in Wankuku.
Yeah.
That is so bold of you. Interesting. Yeah. I think I'll give I'll give Villa this one. This one here, I'll give Villa. Villa will have Villa will win this game home. Lugazi versus Vipers. I think Vipers will win that away. Lugazi is still struggling to really have its foot in the league. We have Express Maroons. Yeah, this could be a shocker. Maroons could really pull out a shock, especially after losing to Wakiso Giant at home. Then URA versus Mbarara, still tight, but I believe that will be a draw. Anyway, that's what we had for the Uganda Premier League. I don't know what Hudson has more to say, but that was basically looking at the UPL. That's the fixture that will be on for match day 2, starting with NEC that will be playing UPDF in Gogo. Uh, so anyway, Mr. Addison, let's advance the conversation. Let's look into Friday night basketball.
Of
That
course,
is being. Mm, go on. First, finish up.
yeah, of course, I'm seeing Yara is winning that game, and also
Mm,
Maroon is losing the game because they lost a lot of players. I think they lost roughly their
mhm,
first 11,
mhm.
so they're struggling a lot, and they're still struggling. If they don't wake up and sign plans second round, you might see them in relegation battle.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's move on to basketball. Friday night, Friday night, Friday night lights basketball returns, and it's coming for its 10th edition. What do you have on that, Mr. Hudson?
The Friday Night Lights season, sponsored by Castle Light and Mountain Dew, is back on, and of course, there are 8 teams which are vying for the championship. This basketball program is all about the fans coming together with the players and they enjoy the game of basketball. That's why it's called Friday Night Lights Basketball. And of course, you've got the teams are 8. You have Team Afende, Team Comfort, Team Yahweh, Team Agatha, Team Obleng, Team Waze, Team Bafan, and we've got a team now
Mm,
from the Lorden Foundation, which is going to join as well. So it starts this Friday on 27th of September at the hockey grounds. That's at Logogo. So we
mm,
call upon all the fans to go and enjoy some basketball. Of course, the season officially ended on Sunday with, of course, JK Lady Dolphins uh, putting up a show and winning their 4th championship up against UCU Cannons. And the game, it was game 6 and it ended 68, 56 in favor of JK Dolphins. And they're now 4-time champions. Yeah. Of course, in that game, of course, we saw big performances coming in from Imanishime Rita, who had over 16 points in that game. Adding on that, uh, Hopper Kedo was awarded the MVP of the season. Uh, the best rebounder came from the JT Jaguars big man, that is Mase Bamtorazi. And also the best defender came from UCU, that is Abba Bridget. That's the best defender. The top scorer, of course, came from Jekyll, that is Brenda Ekon. And I'm just so happy with the way she has improved her game. She's now a good 3-point shooter. She can take a good drive and she can finish up so well because she really misses her drives and she's so fast. when it comes to fast break, she's so fast. So she put up a good fight and she was the top scorer of the season. Actually, she has been top scorer for 4 seasons now as a top scorer in the league. Leaving that aside, of course, the top 5 players which were listed in that team, of course, we had Shakira Nambuvi as the point guard. We had Brenda Ekon from JKL. Shakira is from UCU Lady Cannons. Brenda Ekon is from JKL. We have Sarah Geno from JT Jaguars. We've got Hopper Kello, who was the MVP as well from JKL Lady Dolphins. And we have Mase Bamturazi, Amase, who is also a national team netball player for She Cranes. She was also on the team. Generally, it was a good season, interesting season, and we saw what happened because, of course, we had given the win to Jekyll when predicted. Though I knew UC would come up with a good fight and win the game. Me had given UC a win, but most of the people had given Jekyll win because of the way the team was assembled. It was a good assembled team, full of experienced players, with Flavia Okecho winning, she says, her 15th championship. She has played basketball 23 years and she has won 15 out of the 23 years she has played basketball in Uganda.
Wow,
which is
incredible.
which is something incredible and something to talk about in the Ugandan basketball. Yeah. So generally, it's a good show, it's a good fight, and I'm happy that we saw some interesting basketball with UCU coming up in the first 2 games, and of course JK won the last 4 games. They didn't lose any game. They won the last 4 games, and that's why we went to game 6 on Sunday. They were crowned champions. Congratulations to JKL. And of course, they're now going for the Basketball Africa League, which is whereby the qualifiers may be happening, like I think around November or December. They'll be in Kigali, so we wish them all the best because they'll be representing Uganda, and wish them all the best.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you for that basketball insight. We'll move on. This weekend we had quite a lot in the APL. If we go international, we had Arsenal. We had Arsenal pick out. People would say Arsenal picked out a draw, but it was City that picked out a draw against Arsenal in a very controversial style. A lot happened. Alan throwing the ball at Gabriel Martinez, Gabriel the defender. We had a soft red card on Trossard. Arsenal defending quite. I like the way Arsenal defended. It was resolute. It had a 5-4 kind of back line, but as you know, City, it managed to pick out a draw from that game. What does it? Where does this leave Arsenal? And what did you pick out from that derby?
It was an interesting game. We saw the first half ending 2-1 in favor of Arsenal, with Calafiori scoring the first goal and Gabriel scoring the second goal for Arsenal. Then we saw a person who we know can't stop scoring, Haaland scoring his 100th goal in 105 games for Man City. That guy is incredible. Guy is
How is
incredible.
it even possible?
He scored a quick goal for Man City. The guy is just abnormal. I would say that if he was in a team like team like France or a team like Spain or a team like Portugal, even England itself as the national team would be seeing goals and goals and
score more goals?
Him, but he's in Norway. It's not a good European team.
For me, I believe it's the City style that suits him.
With that kind of form he has, and with the way it torments defenders, he would score more goals in those teams.
He would score, but I don't think he would.
Even Norway,
I don't think he would
doesn't
be
have that.
astronomical.
Apart from Odegaard and Haaland, the national team struggles a lot. National team struggles a lot because you could see them struggling. if Hurricane is scoring those many goals for the national team of England, if the likes of
Mm.
Mbappe are scoring those goals for the national team of France, you saw Giroud at one time was a problem. You saw Morata being a problem in the national team of Spain.
Mm.
Uh, what
Mm.
what could because these guys have got players who the ball is there for you. Do your thing. Yeah,
Mm.
they've got players who be like from the wing, from the midfield, defenders as well. Those are teams where, but you look at the team, you be like, oh, what's happening? What's happening? You know.
Mm.
And for him doesn't waste balls like how we see Lex of Nunes wasting balls, the Lex of Dembele wasting balls. Haaland is Haaland. He's a beast and he's
Mm.
a top striker. He's the best striker I've ever seen, like in 10 years now. Who give the goals you need, and you be like, wow, incredible from him. But leaving that aside, it was a tactical game.
Mm.
Arsenal played the defensive kind of football in the second half,
Mm.
whereby at one time the ball position was on 91 and Arsenal on a 9.
Mm. Mm.
Which we have never seen. We've never seen that kind of
Mm.
possession, and we saw it in that game on Sunday. The ref also being controversial, giving a red card to Trossard, but I don't blame the ref. I
Mm.
blame Trossard because that was stupidity of the S holder. We
Mm.
saw Rice getting a yellow card stupidly, a red card stupidly, and we saw Trossard also getting yellow card stupidly,
Mm.
kicking the ball. Of course, to the ref, he gave him a second yellow card, but in such a manner, in such a game, this is like a derby, this is like a
Mm.
big game of the season. Why are you trying to give out a card at that time? That was something soft. At least
Yeah.
talk to the player. Be like, next time when you do it, I'll give you a card. But
Mm.
before you could even talk to the player, there and then you give the player a card. And what next? Arsenal became defensive. Of course, Manchester scored an equalizer from Stones, and we saw Haaland hitting the ball at Gabriel, telling him, man, but Man City ran out of options at one time because they were trying to shoot, and
Mm.
Raya was doing his incredible job. The defenders also doing a good job. Let me say, all the players of Arsenal are doing a good job as well, because they all came to defend, and the game ended. We saw players getting injured. We saw the legs of Timber out. We saw Calafiore also was out.
Mm.
We saw a quick substitute of Saka, who did come back in the second half,
Mm.
and there we saw Ben White coming in to play as well as a defender. Generally, it was a good game, and it taught. I'm sure everyone is now contented with what Ateta has put on board to the fans out there. They're like, you know what? I've assembled a team, and you'll see what we can do. Because those days, Manchester would beat you 5, would beat you 3, but now it's hard for them even to win a game at their home ground at Etihad. So it means a lot. It means a lot. It means a lot to Arsenal. It means a lot to get up to the Premier League, because now this is going to be another big rivalry compared to the likes of Liverpool up against Manchester United. This is going to be again another big,
Manchester.
because when they come to Emirates, when they go to Emirates, it's going to be a big
Mm.
game of the season, because these are like title deciders at one time. So we
Mm.
expect a good rivalry from these two clubs, and we saw at the end of the game how Haaland told Ateta, be humble.
It's
He
there.
made them like this
Really.
guy. Be humble, and we saw
Mm.
W used to talking to him is like, what are you,
Mm.
then Haaland asking our 17-year-old kid, who are you? I'm like, wow. I'm like, Haaland is a crazy person.
Absolutely.
It
Anyway, there's some
was a
results.
good fixture, interesting game, and it was
No,
what it
Haaland,
was
you know
what
Haaland.
what
Haaland is
though. Mm,
yeah, Haaland, you know Haaland, yeah. Mm. Yes, absolutely. There's let me look at some of the results. We had Aston Villa. This Aston Villa, we really speak about Aston Villa, but Aston Villa is one of the teams that it's playing the Champions League. It won against Young Boys away, and it came and demolished Wolves. I mean, we could be looking at the top four, but the top four is shaping its own way. We'll have some big teams missing out from the top four.
Aston Villa, they're playing Champions League football and they won their game, of course. Onana playing a good game in the Champions League. Then we're seeing after the run, Uzor is coming off the bench and scoring goals. We're seeing now Watkins doing an incredible job because he scored in the game against Wolves. And of course, we saw Duran coming off the bench also scoring a goal as well. So the attacking force of Aston Villa, the striking force of Aston Villa is becoming a problem because the guy who comes off the bench and scores goals, even if it's man,
deadly.
As a striker, as a top striker, me Watkins, I have to wake up and start delivering. Either I'm assisting or I'm scoring a goal, and that's what he's doing now. He's either assisting or scoring a goal. So generally, that Aston Villa team is a team to watch because they qualified for Champions League, and their first game in Champions League, of course, they won the game. And of course, their coach also, credit to Unai Emery, the way he's assembling this team. He's not under pressure. He's assembling a good team. And getting Onana from Everton to Aston Villa, it was a
rival,
good addition in that midfield because you've got Talisman, you've got Onana into that. So it's
McGinn
generally is assembling a good team, and we're seeing results coming out. We're seeing the results coming out. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. We saw also Newcastle win against Fulham win against Newcastle, Leicester drawing with Everton, Liverpool thrashing Bournemouth 3-0, and Southampton drawing with Ipswich, then Spurs win against Brentford. Then this team, Chelsea. I want us to talk about Chelsea. It's not the first time. I've always mentioned that Chelsea is one of the contenders. It's really under the radar. Maresca ball has not really matured. People are really trying to really throw stick at them, but they're now clicking, and when they click, they're unstoppable. That win against that win against the Chelsea win, the 3-0 win. What do you make of this Chelsea team? I feel like they're contending for the title. Let me see the team they won against here. Just skipped me against West Ham, in London.
It was a London derby, and the Chelsea players are just hungry. They're hungry at something. These are young players, and they're hungry to be like, man, if I don't perform, I'll be benched. Because when you look at that team, they sent over 10 players this season. So there's that angle of like, if I don't perform, I'm going to be benched.
Somebody will
guess
do
what?
it.
The only person who is safe in that team is Jackson.
Of all
Jackson
people.
because they don't have any striker like Jackson. Don't have any striker. He's the only safe player in that team because they don't have a striker. They don't have a natural 9. It's only Jackson who's there as their top striker, the lead striker. That's the only player who's safe. And of course, he comes off the bench. Of course, Madueke comes in. Other guys coming. But to me, I would say he's only a safe player who I know is going to be a starter. And of course, their number Kukweda was also another safe player into that. The keeper is also safe. These are young players who want to prove a point to Premier League and also to people out there. You know what? Like, you're talking about us, you're saying they've signed a lot of players, he's a new coach, and we need to impress the coach because we need playing time and we need results. Sancho also is trying to prove a point. Is that, you know what? Manchester,
speaking of Sancho,
to Chelsea, let me deliver. I get results. I believe on top of that, I have to be summoned back onto the national team because now I'm no longer a national team player. After Dortmund, what next? I was dropped. So he's trying to prove a point. Of course, Joe Felix also, who
has
was
been a
let go by
nomad.
Atletico Madrid to Chelsea. Yeah, he has been moving around Chelsea, Barcelona. He's now settled into Chelsea, and he needs to perform as well. So they've got a lot of talent in there, but now I'll give credit to the coach. The way he's assembling his team and the results he's getting, that matters a lot because they've got a lot of talent, but how do you assemble a team? And what are you telling them? The coach is doing a good job by talking to these young lads and the young lads, because the average age of Chelsea, I think, is like 25, 23 years. That's the average. Most of the players are below 25 years, and these young boys are so big. They're proving a point to to us who were like, Chelsea won't do anything.
Yeah.
You've seen them winning games and
Mm.
putting up a good fight. So
Mm.
generally, credit to the coach and credit to how the players are playing, how the players are doing a good job. So we shall see more because this was their, let me say, their fourth game of the season. So
Mm.
we shall see more as the season goes on because more games are happening and hope to see more positive results from them.
Absolutely. Of all the people, no one would think of Nicholas Jackson being a starter. Being a starter that cannot be benched. But form. And I remember very well, Didier Drogba wrote to him when they tried to criticize Nicholas Jackson. He said, "Keep your head up and work hard," and it has really, really paid off. Yeah, next game, Arsenal will be playing Leicester. Quite a tricky game. Newcastle will be hosting Manchester City. These are the fixtures for this weekend. Newcastle will be hosting Manchester City. Arsenal will be hosting Leicester City. Brentford will be playing West Ham. Chelsea will be playing Brighton. That's a hard one also. We want to see really these two styles. Everton, Crystal Palace. Liverpool will be playing Wolves away. I mean, that should be really an easy win for Liverpool on that. Yeah, but would close by just talking about two teams in the Liga. The Liga race. I'm looking at Barcelona and Madrid. I mean, all these teams are firing on both cylinders. Have you gotten any? Have you given any team an edge of really knocking this off at the end of the season in terms of their fixtures, injuries between these two El Clasico teams?
Mm, uh, Madrid has one problem. They start slow.
Mm.
Then when they score a goal against them, that's when they wake up and they start playing serious football. Because we saw them in the first half,
Mm.
all the missed out of chances, and when the opponent scored, that's when they woke up and we saw serious football coming in from them. Good
Mm.
goals coming in from, of course, Vinicius Junior
Mm.
scoring the brilliant goal, and I would say what a pass from Rodrigo who made a sweet pass. Actually,
Mm.
it's an interesting season. Uh, it's a good start of the season, but Barcelona is on form because they're scoring over 5 goals in most of the games.
Mm. Does that really
Though
show
they
form?
struggled against Monaco in the
Mm.
Champions
Does it
League,
show form? Mm. Yeah, you saw them struggle against Monaco. Yeah.
it somehow, yeah, it somehow shows form. It somehow shows form in the La Liga because
Mm.
they've got a lot of young players, and the young players are doing an incredible job with a few experienced players being in. Of course, you've got Lewandowski, one of the top
Mm.
strikers in the world. There, you've got De Jong also there into the midfield. You've got, of course, Rafinha also into the team. They've got
Mm.
an on-form Yamel who's doing wonders.
Mm.
He gave out a sweet pass to 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 Rafinha, who scored a good goal,
Lewandowski.
the fifth goal
Yeah, Rafinha. Yeah.
on that year.
Mm.
Yeah, so I would say yeah, it's a good team, and yeah, we hope to see more results from them. But there's a big highlight which came in actually in over the weekend. There was the biggest highlight. My biggest highlight was the Milan derby. People are talking about Arsenal, Man City, but there was a Milan derby.
Yeah, yeah,
Most
yeah.
of the people didn't watch it, but that was
I was coming to
the
it.
most interesting. Yeah, that was my biggest. That was my biggest highlight of the weekend. I would say that it was
What
my
did you
biggest
pick
highlight of
of
the
it?
weekend
Yeah, I mean, no
because
one
you saw
expected
Pulisic.
Milan to. Mm?
Pulisic scored an incredible goal.
Mm.
That goal of the first goal of Pulisic, the way he dribbled through the defenders
Mm.
to finish up that goal, I'm like,
Mm.
Chelsea let go of this kid, but this kid is a problem, and he's proving to us that you know what? Yes, I mean Milan, but I'm here to score goals. Of course, AC Milan won that game, but it was a really hard battle. We saw how emotional the players were when the final whistle was blown, and we saw the AC
Mm.
Milan players jumping as if they've won a championship. I'm like, now this is the derby we've been waiting for. This is the kind of AC Milan, Inter Milan derby we want to see. No more the things of
Mm.
like, you know, the
Yeah, the turnout
the
was
wins of
okay.
Inter Milan. No,
Mm.
generally, yeah, generally it was a good derby. The turn-up was okay. We saw
Yeah.
Zlatan being so happy because I'm sure he's the technical director of AC Milan, how happy he was. Of course,
Mm.
AC Milan would have scored even more than 3 goals. We saw Jackson missing a goal. We saw this Leo also missing also missing a goal.
Mm.
And credit to the Inter Milan keeper, he made good saves there.
Mm.
Generally, it was a good derby, and we're enjoying football because I can watch La Liga, I can watch Premier League, I can watch Serie A.
Yeah.
I'm not bored. I'm not bored. I'm
Mm.
enjoying football generally every day. Yeah, and today we
Absolutely.
have got
Yeah. Anyway,
The Europa League and Conference League is also up today. So we are busy.
returning.
Mm.
Yes. Absolutely. Anyway, thank you so much, Miss Hudson. Today we shot closely to 50 minutes. It has been really an interesting show. We spoke about the UPL. We shall be really following the UPL. As you also, our viewers, really become part of this. The UPL local basketball is coming to an end, but as Hudson said, we have some other tournaments coming up. Yeah, then we will also check out the rugby sevens that will be happening in Barara. Yeah, today has been hot take. We do this every Tuesday. I'll let before I close, I'll let my co-host Hudson also say his few last words as we close the show.
And to the viewers out there, of course, it's a busy week full of games and sports. But I would like to thank you for always tuning in and watching our show and commenting and giving us feedback on what we are talking about. Thank you very much, and please keep up the spirit. This is the 20th episode, and we hope to give you more and more episodes when it comes to the hot take. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Blessed week.
All right, blessing. Bye bye.